everybody. I see a couple people in the chat. I see Amy's there. I hope you're feeling okay with your meds. You're staying awake. Staying awake's good. I have a couple things to say really quick at the beginning that are not related to my stuff, which is that, and I'll announce this at 2 p.m. too. And I've put this in the Phase group as well as and on Pam Watson's page in the Summit website. Her Halloween coloring card designs are, if you are not a Cricut Access member, they are trying to charge you for those. And that is not how it is supposed to be. So unfortunately, Pam has had an emergency and so she can't fix the problem like right away. So what I've been working on frantically is turning her designs into SVG files, which is a little bit tricky without the originals. So so bear with me. I am working on that. I'm actually kind of close, but I need to test them to make sure that there aren't mistakes, because that happens a lot when you're image tracing things. So give me a few hours, and worst case scenario, I will email them all out to everyone so that you get them for free. Because I don't think it's fair that you would have to be a Cricut Access member to get those. So that was not supposed to be what was going on, and I don't know how to fix that because I don't post things like that in Cricut Design Space, and she has been called away, so unfortunately she's not able to change it right away either. But we'll get it fixed. Okay. And also, because of the emergency, she has had to cancel her 2 p.m. live stream, so she will not be here for that either. So sorry about that inconvenience. Hopefully you can follow her on her social media and get to know her, because her projects are very, very cute. But she is, most of her things are just in Cricut Design Space, so you can search for her there and find a lot of her really, really cute designs. Okay. So now let's move on to my projects, I guess. So I did the print and cut hack for the Joy on Thursday. So if you watched that and have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. That is the only video in the Summit that is available still to everyone. I did modify it a little bit for YouTube, but it is now posted on this channel on YouTube. So if you ever need a refresher on the print and cut hack for the Joy, it is there for you. And I specifically wanted you to be able to use it for the Pam Watson project, because her designs are, she's designed it to be print and cut. You can draw the designs with your Joy if you don't want to go to the hassle of the whole print and cut, hack. So you can do it either way, but I just want to make sure that the Joy people would have a way to create those if they wanted to do the print and cut. Now, obviously, the Joy Extra you can do print and cut on, so you're good to go with those on that one. So if you have any questions about that, essentially with the print and cut hack, you have to create a template in like a rectangle, basically. Like I did a 4x9 rectangle. You could do up to 11 and a half, 4¼ by 11 and a half if you wanted to. And you can print that large for that hack. But it's kind of a 3-step process where you create like this. It's basically like a rectangle in Cricut Design Space. And then I use tape on a long mat and have the machine cut the rectangle out of the tape, and then just remove the inside. And so that outer edge of the rectangle is kind of like the area in which you can like cut things. Then you go lay out your stickers in that same shape, inside that shape. I did it in Canva in the print and cut hack. Sorry, guys, I'm getting over a cold, and occasionally I have like horrible coughing attacks. So give me a second. And so like you would sort of recreate the rectangle in Canva, and then you place your sticker images in there. Then you download that as a PNG, upload it to Cricut Design Space, Then you remove the background. So you can just do that by like clicking any, you use the manual tool, little crosshair tool, and you just click on the white. That pulls the white out. So then you're wound up with silhouettes of your stickers that are uploaded into Cricut Design Space. And then you offset that because I suggest you have a border around those stickers. There's no way you're going to get the Cricut Joy to cut perfectly on the edges. And honestly, I don't think I've ever had any of the machines cut perfectly on the edges. So I always put an offset and any like sticker images that I'm going to print and cut. And so I added an offset to the sticker images. It's a little bit complicated. So, like now I'm talking about it like that. Then you have to you're basically cutting the offset is what you're cutting out with the machine. So you have to line them up real well, hide the actual outlines of the stickers, and then just cut the offsets. And then you load your page, then you, I skipped a whole area. In the middle there, you also have to print out your image of the rectangle with your stickers in it in another program. I did it in Word in the hack. And then you cut that down and you load that on your mat and you put that into your Joy. And that is what is cut when you send the offset layer to the machine to cut. So it sounds really complicated, and I guess it kind of is. But once you do it at least once, it's much easier. Then you'll know what you're doing. So yeah, so you can see it's the very first video there. I uploaded it on Thursday. So that is it, and you can go review that anytime you need.
Attention.
Oh, but not the ads. And for that, my favorite sticker paper is HTV Ront, the printable vinyl. So for the hack, I actually used the transparent, which came out like this, and they're kind of, it's hard to see, really hard to tell because they're transparent. But they actually cut really, really well. The border is super even all the way around these, which is very nice. But they also make, I'm only telling you this, I'm not trying to advertise for them. They have a matte white, and then they have a glossy white too. And in all three of these, you can turn into waterproof stickers because they come with a laminate sheet. So that's really cool. And they're actually very waterproof without the laminate sheet. I've tested them. I've dunked the stickers in a glass of water to see with the ink run, and they work really well. Do I have a preferred printer? Laser versus inkjet? I have an inkjet printer. I have a Canon Pixma. I've had it forever. I don't know, 15 years. I love it. It does a really, really good job. It's specifically designed for photo printing, scrapbook printing, that kind of stuff. And so that's why it does such a good job. It is now giving me problems. It doesn't want to work with Windows 11 real well, so I may have to replace it. And if I do, I'm going to get the Canon, I think it's the Pixma Crafter printer. It's called the craft printer or something that's specifically kind of designed for crafts and photos and that kind of thing. So that was my favorite printer. I have an EcoTank sublimation printer that I switched over, and that's actually does a good job too. I'm sure as just a regular printer. Is it a 12 by 12 printer? No, mine only prints 8.5 by 11. The craft version does do 12 by 12, I believe. It might even do up to 17 inches long or 19 inches long. It's definitely a larger format printer than the one I've got now, which I think does, it's just 8.5 by 11. I don't think it even goes to, it'll print photos, smaller photos, but the largest size is 8.5 by 11. But it's old. I mean, I think it's an old model. It's possible that the Canon Pixmas, the more recent ones, are larger. Hard to say. So that's my explanation about print and cut. I probably made it sound really scary. It's actually really not bad. If you go through it if you downloaded the instructions or I had it sort of step by step, just try it at least once to see if you see to kind of go through it once, and then you can sort of understand what the process is, and then it's a lot easier after that. Okay, well, if you have any questions about that, just pop them in there, and Aaron will show them to me. Now, my other project was engraving with your Cricut Joy or Joy Extra. It's hard to. I need to get like a colored piece of paper. Can you see that? Oh, that's a little better. You kind of see it. So I engraved the gratitude and the sun with this engraving tip. Now, this is a third-party tool. So if you use it, you will, I'm assuming, void your warranty on your machine. So I would not suggest trying this until after your 1-year warranty has expired. Cricut is pretty hard-nosed about any warranty claims. So I just think it's better safe than sorry. Wait a year, then get your engraving tip. I understand there are other tips now available. This was the only one like a year ago, back when I first started this whole engraving journey with the Joy. So, I haven't tried any of the other ones. I love this one. It works great. It's like, it comes with a bunch of little extra like metal tags and stuff. So you can, like this size, and hopefully you can see that's like super thin. So the one thing about the Joy that you need to know versus the Explorer or the Maker, I'm going to grab my machine, is hopefully you can see there the silver bar that the carriage runs on, this guy back here, the distance between it and the platform of the machine is all you have is the thickness you can use to engrave. And that is very thin. It is 1 millimeter max. Versus like the Maker, it's more like 1/8 of an inch or something. I haven't measured it, but it's significantly thicker. So you can do like a thicker acrylic ornament blank. Then those are standardly like 2 millimeters thick. So it's a little bit tricky to go out and find the ones that are a millimeter or less. And this is like 0.08 or something. You can see how thin it is, but it's really sturdy. Like it holds up really well. And then these like super thin little metal tags work great. And you can even do a little bit thicker. Here they are. You can do metal that's like that's about the same thickness as the acrylic ornament, and you can engrave that with the same tip on the Joy or the Joy Extra. Now, engraving is a long, tedious process. Oh, somebody just ordered a Cricut Joy, so you're waiting for delivery. Cool. Now you might want to wait a year because you're just starting your warranty before you go down these like third-party tool route. But I am a big fan of the third-party tools because it really expands what you're able to do with the Joy. So like this engraving is fun, but it is a little bit tedious. It takes a while to engrave. And engraving is a very, in my experience, somewhat random process. I'm trying to find my other, there it is. I don't know if you can tell here between the two. So I did it twice. And one I have on the back and one I have on the front. And like this version, this version is a little bit cleaner than this version. I've got a little bit of weirdness happening in through here. And it's the exact same file. And so I don't know if that's just how your machine is feeling from one time to the next or what, but I always have like a sort of a slightly different result every time I try this. And I think it's related to, as a designer, when you make something like this, you have to like add the hatch fill, which is what does the engraving, at least the way I do it, because this is all I know. I design the thing in the file in Illustrator, and then I add the hatch fill in Inkscape. And sometimes the way Illustrator and Inkscape communicate doesn't always line up so well. And so I have to modify the hatch fill back in Illustrator to make sure that it's filling correctly. And then my theory is that when that file is then taken into Design Space is sort of confused by, like, because there's a lot of what are called points, which are what draw the paths for your machine to cut or draw or whatever. And because there are a lot of points involved with hatch fill, I think that's where sometimes the machine is just like, I don't totally get this, and I'm going to just do it over here, when it should be like a little bit off, a little bit, closer. So just anticipate that. What about the metal bracelets made for hammering letters into? Will they work? I have some of those, and I actually think they will. I feel like I checked them, and I don't want to, I know where they are, but as long as it's like less, thinner than a millimeter, you can do it. And you can really engrave. I mean, you can't engrave really deeply. The issue with the engraving is the strength of the carriage. So like the carriage that your blade runs on, it's like how much pressure can that carriage exert on the material that you're working with. And the Joy and the Explore series have a lot less ability to exert pressure than the Maker, for example. So that's, I imagine, why they did not create like engraving tools or think that they should even bother with trying to engrave on the smaller machines. And I think the original Explore, I don't know if the Explore 2 has a engraving tool or not. Like, I think it's just the Maker that has the engraving tool. So I know that this company makes a version that works in the original Explore, and then the Explore 2. The Explore 3 might have its own. But this works in the Explorer version of this works in the Maker too, so it should work in the Explorer 3 as well. But that's kind of where you're dealing with the limitations of engraving with some of the lighter weight machines. But it does work, as we can see. And I have engraved the metal before. I can't find my examples from last year, which in the summit last year I did some Christmas ornaments that were on these metal discs, and so you can engrave these just fine. All right. And then with this project, if you watched it, I added the color with heat transfer vinyl. So hopefully, I'm going the wrong way. So I used like holographic heat transfer vinyl to add the butterfly and the sun center and like the flowers down here. And so you can heat transfer vinyl onto these acrylic ornaments, which is pretty fun. So just a funky, like, different thing to try on your acrylic ornaments, as opposed to like, I mean, you could obviously use adhesive vinyl too, but I just wanted to see, would the heat transfer vinyl work or would it melt? And it worked just fine. Totally. And then like it's on there for a really long time. Okay. Well, oh, let's see. That being said, are you still using the first Joy you received purchase? Yes, I am. Yeah, I have. This is my original Joy from, I don't know how, I got this when this first came out. Like, I probably bought it the day it debuted. And then I added my own stickers to it. But yep. Like the Joy and the Joy Extra are definitely like the machines that I use the most. Just because I'm more of a card maker and I don't make huge cards. So it's really easy to use the smaller machines and move them around. And because I have to, as you can see behind me, I have the larger machines back on these shelves. I have a pretty small craft space. Like it's 10 by 12 and there's a lot going on in here. So I don't have a lot of workspace. So I have to use like as much of the vertical space in here as I possibly can. And so it's putting the larger machines on these shelves is like way easier for me, and I can pull them off and bring them out and use them, but it's way easier to just pull out the little machines than the big machines. And so if I can use the little machines, I'm going to use those. And that's like 95% of what I do is smaller, like cards, you know, A2 size cards and smaller. Maybe occasionally I'll do like a 5x5 square, which you have to use the Joy Extra for. And envelopes, obviously, you have to have a larger machine to cut those, but you can also get something like a We Are Memory Keepers, like envelope board. I have one of those. I use that a lot too, where you can make various envelopes and just using it. It's like a punch board, and it comes with a scoring tool, and so it tells you on it like what you just look. I need an envelope that fits a card that's, say, a weird size, like 5.5 by 6. And you just look, it has a chart on it, and you just look at it, and then you just use the punch board to make the envelope. You have to have 12 by 12 paper a lot of the time, but that works really well, you know, if you don't want to invest in one of these huge machines, and especially if you don't have a lot of space. I love that thing. And I don't get anything. I'm not pitching them, I swear. Just sharing the things that I really like and I use quite a bit. I have a fun card I wanted to show you guys because this is coming up in the Card Maker Success Summit in August. This is a Scandinavian Christmas card, Good Jul, or I had to learn how to say it. In Swedish, it's one way, and in Norwegian, it's the other. It's like Good Jul or Go Jul. And so I also included other, you know, non-Scandinavian sentiments with this, but you won't see it till Card Maker Success Summit in August, but it's a pop-up card with a little tree. So I really like this one. I'm really happy with it. So I wanted to share it. I'm getting into the whole pop-up card thing. So, and I know people have liked those ones that I've done in the past. I have this guy that I did at Abby Kirsten's Cricut Craft Fest that folds flat, and then it pops out into a bouquet. It was a Mother's Day. And this is actually a print and cut, but you don't have to do it as a print and cut. The stickers are all print and cut. And so you just put the stickers onto cardstock before you cut them. And then then you cut them out and you just stick them, make your bouquet. And so it's pretty easy and fast. If you do any like intricate cuts, if you want to make cards that are pretty delicate or have a lot of like lacy details to them, I always suggest that people use 65-pound 176 GSM smooth cardstock if possible. I think I do a lot of intricate designs on my cards, and that is the best thing that I have found to actually successfully cut out those designs. Heavier weight cardstock than that really doesn't work because your machine, again, it has to do with the pressure of the blade, but your you know, the little one has to make like really intricate turns and stuff. If your material is too thick, then the blade kind of gets stuck a little bit and it'll drag or it'll catch or it won't cut correctly. And that's why your intricate cuts may not come out looking so hot. On the Joy and the Joy Extra, I always use the medium cardstock setting for that weight of paper, even though it tells you that lightweight cardstock is for 65-pound. I nonetheless always use the 80-pound, the medium cardstock setting, because I have a lot more success on that setting than I do on the light cardstock setting. I always find that like their pressure is just always a little bit too light for the cardstock that I'm using. They calibrate all their stuff based on Cricut materials, so you know that might be the difference. You like my butterfly welcome sign behind me, my home? This guy? Oh God, it's backwards. That is, oh gosh, who makes that? It's like, it's a whole series of different things that you can put in for the O in home. So, I change them out seasonally just because I like doing that. I have like a Christmas, I have a Santa, I have a snowman, I have a turkey, I have a heart. There's all kinds of stuff. And I use paint and then also paper with the Barely Art glue actually to put the paper onto the various surfaces, and they layer together to create this like 3D butterfly, for example. You can see him here. So I just painted it purple and then painted the body, and then the other pieces are covered in paper and then just glued together. But there's a whole series of these. Scrapbook.com has them, I believe. I cannot for the life of me remember the company that does it. But I'm sure if you put in like home, 3D home sign or something, it would probably come up. Do I use regular blade or fine point blade? I always use fine point blade. I mean, just as like the setting. I don't think the Joy only has like one blade, so I just use that one. And there is like the deep cut blade I know with the Maker, but I always just use the regular fine point blade setting on any of the Cricuts. I mean, unless I'm specifically using like the knife blade or the deep cut blade, but I hardly ever use those. So it's always just the normal fine point blade for me. Another thing I would suggest, especially if you're a Joy user, is getting a paper trimmer if you don't have one and a scoreboard. So let me, like, I have this little, this is no longer made. This is like a Martha Stewart version, but there are other ones around, like the Score Buddy, the Score Pal, where it comes with all the grooves in it, and you just line up across the top. Can you guys tell this? This is in inches. So, and then it comes with the little scoring tool that hooks on. And so you just line up your paper. So this is how you can make a card base without using your Cricut. And because it's really tough to cut, like I use a lot of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, for example. And I will make top folding A2 size cards on the Joy. And those are 4.25 wide by 5.5 when they're folded. So when they're open, they're 4.25 by 11. And because I use 8.5 by 11 cardstock, it's really, really hard to put that into your machine and get it to cut to exactly that 11-inch length. Like, undoubtedly, it's always going to be a little bit off. So 9 times out of 10, I use my paper trimmer to cut the cardstock to 4.25 by 11, and then I just take my scoreboard and I score it down the middle to fold it. It's just a lot more precise. It also saves the cardstock, so you're not having like a whole 1/4 inch of your cardstock like a left from cutting it on the machine. Now, if you have 12 by 12 cardstock, you can certainly use that and get a really clean 11-inch cut, but I just don't have a whole lot of that on hand. I much prefer the 8.5 by 11. That's what I use like every day. So that's why I have a paper trimmer and a scoreboard. And I have a guillotine trimmer from Tim Holtz, which I really love, the 12-inch one. And then I also have one of these, which has like where you can be a little more precise. So like if I need to cut something really, really tiny, you can line up, there's like I don't know if you can tell, there's a wire that runs down the middle of this. And so you can line the wire right up on the paper to get a more precise cut. Where can you get one of the boards? You can get them, like if you're in the US and you have a Michaels near you, they probably have them. Michaels or Hobby Lobby or Joann's. You could certainly get one from a store like scrapbook.com online. Amazon probably has them. Just all you need to look for is they're called scoring boards is what they're called. So I highly recommend them. It's a great like little mini tool, especially if you make a lot of cards, if you're doing a lot of card work. Hopefully that helps you out. Definitely, I know Michael's has the paper trimmers like these. Oh, 2 minutes left. That's all. Oh my goodness. I'm just rambling on and on. Where can you watch the replay of this? It will be on here. It's on my YouTube channel indefinitely. We've had some issues with music copyright claims, but we have the license for the music. So anything that has been like we've had a couple that were blocked. So those I've already disputed them. So they'll be back up and available, you know, probably today, if not tomorrow at the latest. So replays are on here forever. You can watch them forever. All of them if you want. Okay, guys. Well, so that's my wrap up on my print and cut, my engraving with the Joy. I hope you guys have learned some things that you could make with your Joy that you didn't know you could make. Things like engraving or the shrink jewelry or cutting acetate. Like all of those are sort of unusual. Making gift boxes, you know, you think it's so small that you can't do it, but Jen Goody had her thing yesterday that showed you how to make like gift boxes that are pretty good size. So hopefully that has been helpful for you. All right. Well, I guess I'm getting. I think we're done. I think we've gone past the 30 minutes. So I will be back at 2:00 just to let everybody know that Pam is not going to be here. So if you have any questions, then I'm happy to take them. Otherwise, Emily Miner will be here at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then at 8 p.m. Eastern time we will have the wrap up for the summit, and I will announce all the giveaway winners for the large giveaways that are available on the giveaways page that you can get to from the schedule page. There is a link at the top of the page that you can click on to get to that page very easily. All right, so I hope you're having a good day today, and I will get those Pam Watson Halloween coloring card SVGs up as soon as I can. Hopefully very soon, but I got to test them first. Oh, what was the name of the engraver again? It is linked in the video description. And you can also get it there. There's a supply, like a master supplies page. If you go to the schedule page and up at the top bar, there's a link to the like summit supplies page. And that has everybody's supply list on it. And I have it linked on mine for the engraving project. And they're alphabetical by a speaker's last name. So mine's Anderson. So I'm close to the top. Not on purpose. Okay. Oh, if we can't make the wrap up, where can we see the list of winners? We'll post them in the Facebook group on Monday. So probably like mid-morning, I will have that up. Not and mid-morning Mountain Time, I should say, because I'm in Colorado. So, you know, noon, 1:00 Eastern Time. How about that? Okay. Well, good to see y'all. Always fun to talk. Ramble on and on about stuff. Again, if you come up with any more questions, you can ask them at 2 or at 8 anytime. And I hope you're continuing to have a fun time at the summit and watching all the presentations from today. And I will talk to you later.